Hi guys, welcome to Nine's Corner. I hope you're doing well, feeling well, and we're just going to get straight into it because tonight I totally planned on doing this whole numerology thing, and I was struck with the news coming out of Minnesota. That poor man, George Floyd, who was murdered by the police. I will say, unlike most other incidences, at least the mayor took care of it. The police chief got rid of those four cops and fired them. But that's not enough. And crowds of people had their voices during this time of pandemic, went to the streets because this is just not good enough. I am ashamed as a white person that in 2020 this is a story that we're having to deal with. I truly am just like, what, what, how much worse is it going to be? Because for them to fire those four cops, the rest of the story, the rest of the video, the rest of all the circumstances are going to be so much worse than anything else. And the fact that this man, they said, oh, a fraudulent check or some such thing like that, killed him over it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a Celtic cross. I'm going to do a bigger reading to kind of just look and see what is this case to deal with the police, to deal with the attention and the overabundance of people of color being in the prisons, and the fact that four white cops took down and murdered a black man. Let's just see what's going to be the energies moving in this story. How is this going to affect the big picture? And let me just say, I am so just heartsick for George Floyd's family and for the city of Minnesota and for the people of America, because, we all have racism. I mean, we certainly have it here in Canada. And it's a sad, embarrassing, horrific situation that unless people of all colors, including white people, need to stand up and say, you know what? This is awful to have to look at the history of where we come from. It is awful to see what people have done and what people are still allowed to do. But unless we communicate and we look at the hard things, nothing's going to change. And I know I got some backlash from my video where people were like, oh, you shouldn't say about they have to have a black person. Yes, there has to be black people visible and in positions of importance and empowerment within the government. And Joe Biden has been part of, in his past, has been part of the issues. And because he has been part of some of the issues, this would be a great time for him to come out and say, okay, you know what? We've all made mistakes in the past, but going forward, let me show you what I'm going to do. He needs to answer to Charlemagne. This is too big. Even in the time of pandemic, this is too big to just be swept under the rug yet again. 4 cops have lost their jobs. 4 cops need to be investigated by the FBI, and they need to be prosecuted. People need to see what were the circumstances around it. What were the cops doing? What did they have video cameras on themselves? We need to see all the circumstances, and there has to stop being all this talk about what they're going to do so that they get people to vote for them, and then as soon as people get voted in, doesn't matter about what their background is, as soon as they get voted in, they forget about the people that got them there. So let's have a look. Let's just have an overall look and see, is this Is this going to have any impact for change? Or, you know, in the time of 2020, we are coming into the time when things that were no longer working, the old way of doing things, have to be destroyed to make room for the new. So maybe this is the beginning of, yet again, another beginning, but a time when everything has to be destroyed, including the way that black people have been represented, the way they've been treated. And we need to look at this and not be afraid to have the hard conversation and move forward. It's not going to be easy. You can't do everything all at once, but at least make some steps. And the fact that the police don't have some kind of special course that they have to go to where they actually look into race relations, where they look into the fact that, and I mean, there shouldn't even be a course to have to say, hey, when you've got somebody in handcuffs, you don't need to put your knee on their neck for several minutes until they die. Oh, I could just, oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let's just get into the reading and let's see how is the energies going to move on from here. Okay, so starting off, we are going to get a lot of people emotionally speaking out. This is going to be a time of people reacting, looking at their feelings, exploring their feelings, and, you know, there's going to be some unfortunate opinions that are going to go against, and it's going to be an emotional time. And at this time in the U.S. where there's so much divide, this is going to add to it. But crossing it is the strength. Strength, it means that, look, even though the situation is hard, you have what it takes to get through it. So we need to build the strength of the relationships between us as human beings. This is going across this. So there is a buildup of strength. There's a buildup of information of people showing their emotions, coming out and saying, hey, this needs to be changed. And the strength, at least there's strength being pushed on that. There's nothing negative going against them. It's the strength being pulled up. Underneath it, a lot of fighting, a lot of just injustice, a lot of pain. It's just a constant battle, a constant go around. On top, oh, I hate this card. It's dark. It's dark money. I mean, this will tell you that there is, you know, when you do something in life, whatever the reaction, be it good or bad, you're getting something out of it. There's something negative. There's something that people have been getting out of it, and that's why it stays. It's almost like it's institutionalized at this point. In the past, again, a lot of overwhelming emotion to the point where people are just shedding tears and they're tired of it. This is the past card. Going into the future, you're going to start hearing about some action, people putting some force behind their emotion. Now this is the page, so we're not looking at the king, queen, or knight. So it's not going to be this big, huge, impactful thing, but it is going to start getting people thinking. It's going to start getting people doing the foundational work to say, hey, something needs to be looked at here. Something needs to be, something needs to have a focus put on it. And there's almost like there's a new spirit, a young spirit. I think young people, younger generation of people are going to say, no, you know, we don't live like this anymore. This is not the way it's going to be. This is not the life that we want. So I think young people are going to come out and they are going to be of action. There's going to be movement within the next, I hate telling times because I'm terrible at it, but there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be something that's going to happen in the next 6 weeks, 6 months. dealing with this and people's reactions. It's going to be swift. People are looking to somebody. People are wishing to have somebody come in and be the doer, be the one who's going to be the king of the situation and do what needs to be done. It's almost like we need somebody who's going to stand up and be, just be the voice of the people. People are desperate for it. As far as the police are concerned, they're hoping that their firing will be enough for them to get away with this. I think they are going to try to cover it up at all costs, in the sense that I don't think they're going to be able to stop the flow of information, but I think they're going to try to present it as though, look, they didn't use weapons. They lost their jobs. They lost their livelihoods. They lost their reputation. That's enough. That's going to be the hope. The outcome, the Queen of Swords. So there is going to be some kind of looking at justice here. There's going to be somebody who's going to be seeking the truth and looking into this. So that's the Celtic cross, but I'm going to continue because I'm interested now that I've seen this Queen of Swords, because this is somebody who's a seeker of truth, who tells it like it is. And the youngins are pushing. So is there going to be okay. So there is some looking beyond. There is going to be some momentum beyond this situation, but their back is turned. So it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be a something that's going to resolve in the short term. But there is this looking at it. There is this sort of feeling the responsibility. In the future, there is going to be looking at not just this situation, but what has been allowed to grow to this point. And what we've done so far is not enough. It's not bearing the fruit that we wish. So there's got to be more movement on it. But unfortunately, I'm seeing loss, hurt, bereavement. This is a time of sorrow where I think there's going to be some disappointments, but there's still hope there. It's not going to resolve itself overnight. But I don't think, we weren't expecting that. Let's have sorry, my battery's dying there. Let's have a quick look and just see what's Trump's reaction going to be. Because I'm sure somebody's going to have to speak out. Even if he doesn't do it himself, he'll have somebody speak out, to say prayers. But let's see what's Trump's thoughts behind this. He's such a bad person. He does not, it matters nothing to him. He does not care. This is not even on his radar to care. That's how sad, sick man he is. Okay, I had done up some of the numerology, so I will just say a few things before I finish off my reading here. I will say that coming into June 14th is Donald Trump's birthday. 14 over 5, which is, he has 2 of those in his numerology. That is karmic debt. And his month of June, because of his birthday and the karmic debt number coming in and having a focus on it, I intuitively kind of feel like something is not going to go Donald Trump's way in June. I feel like his karmic debt and the fact that he is paid zero on the balance is going to come to him in June, and something of importance is coming. I just got this when I was doing the numerology. I just had this like wave of like, whoa, there's something happening. Especially when you look at, for him to have that 14-5, the 1 is yourself, the 4 is stability, and the 5 is just complete change of it. So I feel like something significant is going to come to Donald Trump this month. So that's a little teaser for our next video, I guess, maybe. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for liking, subscribing, and commenting. And for those who've given me like lots of information and YouTubes to look at, I love it. Like I always say in all my videos, information is power. We need to look at these things in order to be able to solve them. So I appreciate everybody's input. So wishing you light for your darkness. And as always, I have our candle lit for each and every one of us, wishing us some peace for our sleep. And to the people of Minnesota and to Floyd George, George Floyd, I am so sorry for your loss tonight. I'm so sorry for the American people to have such a crime. Because it's not an incident. It's not somebody died. Somebody was murdered. And we're already under so much pain and suffering to have to deal with this subject. But it's something that we needed to do. So sending my heartfelt thoughts and wishes to each and every one of you. Have a good night.